Yeah, take a breath. All praises. Ruach means breath. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out, you know. All praises to the Most High. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Sleep, meditate, Elohim on the mind. Built bridges over ditches, past flash and present time. Being righteous is a crime. In the times that we in, some lie on your skin, transform from within. Rewind back in time, cross a line was a crime. Past feeling like the present, relative all the time. Who been playing with your mind? Been trying to free mine. Walking like a leader, optimist in my prime. If I'm lying, then I'm flying, flipping wings all the time. No, there is no denying, there is no denying. Elevation of the soul, gravitating toward that new life. The rock speaking through me, yeah, I'm living like a new type. They living off their old hype, I'm living like I'm top flight. Whether in the store or yacht, whether day and night. Yeah. Weather in the storm with yeah. I've been climbing to new heights, searching for the light, feel like a brand new type. This ain't no height, we Israelite, yeah, we Israelite. Yo, I've been climbing to new heights, searching for the light, feel like a brand new type. This is no height, we Israelite, yeah, we Israelite. Yo, this is no height. We raising eyes, we Israelite. Elevation is real, light. There is no height, Israel, light.
Shalom, Yasharala, all praises to the Most High. Yeah. Today we going in. We got to go in. Today we're going in because everybody is talking about the actual protests that are getting ready to happen. Hold on for just a second. Let's see here. Make sure I got check. All right, just making sure. Sorry about that. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about the protest that about to go on April 5th. We talking about the protests that are about to go down on April 5th. Why are we doing that? The reason why we're talking about the protests that are going down on April 5th because, you know, everybody's protesting Donald Trump right now, right? He's doing a lot of stuff right now. We got the tariffs going on right now. He's passing a variety of different laws. We're going to talk about some of the laws that he's currently are passing. And really, more so than anything, there's a lot of narratives that are going around in the good old US of A. And the more that we actually pay attention to the things that are happening within this culture, within this world that we're living in, we start to realize that I'm not sure who's at the helm right now. You know, it's one of those things where we're looking at everything that's happening in society. And if you're not thinking for yourself, if you're not really taking the time to understand the world outside of the constructs and politics and narratives that are fed to us, it's really easy to get caught up in the hoopla and the ways of the right and the left and the ways that we look at this. So the one thing that I'll say to y'all right now is, I know on April 5th, I had no plans of going out to protest anyways. And that's just facts. I had no plans to go out and protest. That wasn't something that was on my agenda. It wasn't even something that I was thinking of. But when I started seeing some of the things that they were talking about on the news, it made me want to kind of chime in and see what was going on. And then I got on TikTok. And TikTok has a way of breaking down information like no other. And let me tell you that. TikTok has a way of putting things in perspective. So what we're going to do is let's see some of the TikTok breakdowns on April 5th. And we can go back into having a conversation around this right afterwards as well. So let's go.
I know where I'm going to be April 5th. Yeah, I know where I'm going to be April 5th. At home, watching people crash out over things they cannot control. That's where I'm going to be. And I suggest everybody with this color skin, don't take your butt out there thinking you finna change something, because you're not. Don't get tear gas, tased, possibly shot, trying to participate in a million-man march that ain't gonna benefit us at all. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. Y'all remember last time they inserted all them government plants, they started tearing everything up and then start blaming it on regular people. What y'all think gonna happen this time? Somebody gonna get hurt. Somebody gonna have to take the fall for it, and there's gonna be somebody fault. But see, if we stay out of it, we can let them do their own thing. Just let them do their own thing.
In the last election, Black voters, particularly Black women, came out in massive numbers to support Biden and Harris. They voted for policies they believed would improve their communities, expand opportunities, and protect civil rights. And what happened? MAGA voters, the same people who are now feeling the heat, fought tooth and nail to keep their version of America intact. Now, these same people who ignored Black voices, dismissed concerns about racism, and cheered for policies that disproportionately harm Black communities are suddenly upset. They're suddenly worried about economic policies, crypto manipulation, and the influence of billionaires like Elon Musk. And now they want Black people to show up and march with them. Yeah, a lot of Black folks are looking at this and saying, no thanks, y'all made your bed, now lie in it. Meanwhile, MAGA folks and their tech bros were out here hyping up Musk as a genius, blindly following his every move. And now, after getting burned, they want Black folks to hit the streets and fight for their money. Black people are like, nah, we're good.
I live right outside of Washington, D.C., and I ain't going to no march. You know we're not going. So for the 92%, what we going to do? I say we have a big-ass cookout. Let's have a big-ass barbecue. Why not? Right outside Washington, D.C. If I host a big-ass barbecue, vendors, the whole 9 yards, would you come? 92%. Would you come? Let me know in the comments. If I get enough responses, I'm doing it. I want to have a big-ass barbecue. 92% cookout. Fuck it. We deserve it. Let me know in the comments. If I get enough comments, we gonna do it.
So let's keep it real, y'all. When we really get down to the root of history, most movements didn't happen unless Black people were active in them anyways. Even if we go back to the Boston Tea Party, there was Black folks that were at the actual front lines of a lot of that. More so than we understand if you actually do the history. But like, let's keep it real, y'all. Like, when we're talking about the civil rights movement, even when we're talking about like Che Guevara and some of the movement that he was doing, the movement that he was doing when it came to agriculture and the Mexicans that were working in the fields, those movements were initiated by Black folks. Not Che Guevara, but Cesar Chavez. When we're talking about Cesar Chavez, when we're talking about the agricultural movement and what they were fighting for within the fields and like the ways that they were being mistreated and underpaid, that was based off of the protests that were happening around Martin Luther King initially. Cesar Chavez studied Martin Luther King and even took consultation from Martin Luther King on how he should best engage within that. Now, Che Guevara, that's a whole nother movement. Even that movement and that revolution of what was happening with Cesar Chavez and Che Guevara being in Cuba during the 1960s, and Fidel Castro and the whole revolution that happened in Cuba during that time, that was even inspired by the Black Panthers. That was even inspired and actually they inspired the Black Panthers as well. When we're talking about Malcolm X and Malcolm X and Che Guevara, those were some of the things that actually sparked the revolution. But it was a reflection of Black movement that sparked a lot of that. So when we're talking about the times that we're currently in, for Black folks to be in the front line, for one, even Malcolm X was talking about, Martin Luther King's protest style. That has been a debate for a long time. We should have never have been in the front lines of most of these protests. In fact, the thing about laws is laws can always be changed back. And we're getting that proven right now with Trump being in office in the ways that he's trying to make America great again. So we can look at that however we choose. But the thing that I will say is our power is when we galvanize together. And to be real, it's not really a black, white, them, us thing. We got to get out of that mindset too. The construct of race is a part of the distraction. right? So when we're talking about like us coming together, well, dang, you're talking about Fred Hampton at that point. That was a part of his movement. We got to get out of the mindset of it's a racial thing. Now, races are very much part of the construct, and they're very much triggered by movements like this with Trump. But we have to understand that Trump is utilizing race as a way to be able to manipulate the masses to do what he wants y'all to do. And y'all are doing it right now. If you go out on the streets on April 5th, you will be a part of that narrative that is being manipulated. But the thing that I'm trying to really get us to realize is that these narratives have always been utilized as weapons to keep us under their control. Anytime they want to shake the hornet's nest, they get us coming running out, ready to fight the power. Well, what if it's not about fighting the power and it's about getting yourself right? What if it's not about fighting the power and getting your business right? What if it's not about fighting the power and finding the power in yourself to be able to elevate yourself to your highest ability? Because that's really where we're going right now within freedom. If we're talking about freedom and getting to the place of freedom, well, it's going to start with the revolution within inside yourself, getting your mind right, getting your heart right, getting your spirit right, getting in alignment with the Most High, with the Creator. And the more that we do that, that's how we change the circumstances and the realities that we're in. I got this year coming in like a hailstorm on me this year. This year has come in crazy for sure for me. But within it, there's been so many lessons that I needed to learn as well. And, you know, fighting through the storm is just a part of this. It's just a part of this, y'all. So let's go into the next. Let's go into the next one. So what I want to go ahead and also show is the narratives that are being driven up within culture right now. One of the narratives that is really being driven is there's about to be a war on Blackness. And they utilize narratives to be able to justify when they're coming at us in very specific ways. And if you're paying attention to the narratives that are currently happening, Marco Rubio is showing where we're at and what he's about to do. So let's go ahead and listen to some of the things that are getting stirred up in the pot of America and the narratives that are about to be placed on us as people of color, as minorities, and as this world is going backwards to the great old US of A. Let's watch how this narrative can impact us. Let's talk about it.
Reported in the capital of Beirut after Israel issued warnings to residents in the Hadath neighborhood it was about to bomb the area. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the revoked visa of Rumeysa Ozturk, a Tufts PhD student who was abducted on the streets of Somerville, Massachusetts this week by plainclothes federal agents. Ozturk was targeted for writing a student op-ed about Tufts' response to Gaza solidarity protests. Rubio told reporters her case is part of a much larger scheme.
Might be more than 300 at this point. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300?
Sure, I hope. At some point, I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all of them. But we're looking every day for these lunatics that are tearing things up. And by the way, we want to get rid of gang members too.
In related news, a federal court in Newark is hearing arguments from the lawyers of Mahmoud Khalil today as they argue for his case to be transferred to New Jersey and for his release from federal custody. Khalil, a former protest leader and negotiator at Columbia's encampments, was first detained, taken to New Jersey after he was arrested by ICE agents at his home in Manhattan earlier this month. He was in Columbia housing.
So let's keep it real right now. If you're paying attention to what's happening right now in America, well, what's happening right now in America is that they're revving up the narrative. They're revving up the narrative on people of color. They're justifiably opening the doors for there to be race tension and wars. It's a divide and conquer if you're really paying attention to what's happening right now, y'all. And one of the things that we have to take into account within all of the divide and conquer is that we have one similarity. And the one similarity is that most of us aren't making decisions. Most of us aren't making the rules. We become pieces on the chessboard to be manipulated and to be moved around as they will, based off of our own emotional reactions. That's where we're at right now, y'all. And that's why I say it's the most important thing to master yourself. Get with people who are like-minded. Get with people who you can build with. Get with people who have vision. You're going to have alliances in these times. It's an important time for us to get outside of the divide and conquer mindset and learn how to work together. But in order for us to be able to work together, the one thing that I will say that we need to do as a people is master ourselves, master our ego, master our self-consciousness, master the covetousness that we have for another man's possessions or woman or whatever that is. That takes self-mastery. The reason why Torah is in existence is because those are the laws and the moral compass of the Lord. Whether we're talking about it from the emerald tablets or if we're talking about it from the Torah, there are important rules that need to be had in order to be able to navigate this world in a more effective way. That's where we're at right now, y'all. So last but not least, I put a post up that went viral on my TikTok, and then I took it down, and then I put it back up. The reason why I took it down was because I know that like those narratives are important, but I also want to know who's really about those movements, you know? And I think like when you hear something like Gil Scott-Heron and him so eloquently telling the truth about how this game really works, I think it triggers like true emotions in people because we're not seeing a lot of that truth anymore.
But to this point here, what we believe is that nobody actually is in charge. Ready to go?
Shalom.
So that was off of my personal TikTok. But when we're really talking about like what we're dealing with within this world, this construct that we're operating and navigating in, the one thing that we have to take into account is, you know, the mainstreamism of the world is just there to distract us. And the one thing that we really have to fall into is a mindfulness of ourselves and a mindfulness of who we are within our creator, within the divine. Because if we're chasing all of these narratives that are in this world, the one thing that we're going to be is victims to it. So the only way that we get out of victimized mindsets is we have to become the victors. And the only ways that we become victors isn't by protesting in the streets. It isn't by changing policies and following leaders that are made up for us to be able to fall in love with. It's by us mastering ourselves. And the more that we get into that inner work of who we are as people, the more that we stop walking in this fear mindset. Now, if we pay attention to everything that's currently being revved up, there's racial tension that's being had right now, right? One of the other things that we also have to like keep account, it's not the races against one another. You know what I'm saying? Literally, they put it out there as a race for us to be in competition with one another, for us to think that these people are against us. And the only ways that we actually have that confidence and to be able to move forward effectively is to have confidence in ourselves. That's self-mastery. That's ascension. Be not conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The more that we renew the mind, the more that we renew the heart, the more that we raise up the frequency, the less that we're fearful of another person trying to take something from us. We have to get out of that mindset that someone's trying to take things from us. We have to realize that everything that we want is already there. See, the promises of the world, the promises of the Torah, the promises that the Most High has given us have already been there for us to be able to take advantage of. But the thing that we end up doing is we think that we're in competition with our brother, with our sister. It's not about competition. It's about self-mastery. The gift that the Most High has given you is a very specific gift that only you can master and only you can utilize to be able to wake up those who need to be wakened up. See, your gift is the answer to the question. Your gift is the answer to the question. There's a lot of people out there with questions, and there's knowledge that you've acquired through your life experiences that can help others answer those questions. So the thing that we have to understand is, yeah, they got protests happening on April 5th, right? They have racial tension getting ready to rev up, whether it be because you're from Islam and you're practicing the ways of Islamic truth, right? Whether it be because you're a person who's walking in faith in the Most High Yah and you're walking in that truth, people of faith are now being persecuted. The other thing that we also have to keep in mind is that this racial tension. When Mark Rubio, if you were paying attention to the video that I showed before, when you listen to Mark Rubio tell you that we're coming after the gangs next, well, what does that mean? Well, when he says he's coming after the gangs, it's the war on drugs in the 90s and the 80s, y'all. See, the thing that we have to understand is when they go ahead and say gangs or those people or them or the urban community, those are narratives that are specifically directed towards the Black community. And they utilize those narratives to justifiably mess with us, right? I was a kid that grew up in the 90s. I was regularly racially profiled. And it was legal for them to racially profile us because we were in that time of a government and system. You know what I'm saying? So like the things that we have to understand is that they're revving up these narratives of immigrants being people who are killing and people who are stealing and people who are gangbanging and they're the danger in order to target them. So when they go ahead and put them in concentration camps, they can say they justifiably did so. So the thing that you have to understand when they're starting to talk about gangs, and when they're talking about us being gang members and we're coming after the gangs next, best believe that he means Black folks. Don't get that confused. He's coming after us. So the thing that we have to understand is that these narratives, the politics, whether you voted for Trump, whether you voted for Kamala, or whether you didn't vote at all, it don't really matter. Because the prophecy has to be fulfilled. That's just where we're at. The prophecy has to be fulfilled. And the prophecy, the more that we understand it, is a cycle that continually happens. This cycle's happened many times. If you go back into history, there's always a power structure that wants to keep the power and oppress those who they feel are less. There's always a dominant narrative that needs to be pushed in order to justify these things. They always break you before they go ahead and change everything in the construct. That's where we're at right now. We're at a time where they're about to break us down. They're about to break down the system, and they're about to break people down as individuals. And only the strong will survive in these times. And what do I mean by the strong? Those who are spiritually rooted in something greater than themselves. Those are ones who are going to be actually the ones who are going to be able to survive, because they're not walking in the maybe. They're not just walking in faith. They're walking in the faith and purpose of who they're called to be as individuals. This is not a churchy faith that we have now, y'all. You got to get out of churchianity. You got to get out of the religious constructs. It's not even about the mosque. It's not even about going to any of the temples. This is deeper than that. You are the temple. Your body is the church. You need to have church with yourself. And that's through meditation. That's through breath work. That's through being able to self-master the things that take over you on a regular basis. We can argue about the book and the history and the doctrine that's inside that book. But if you're not putting it into practice, because the book is martial arts, the book is law. And the more that you understand how to utilize this martial art of word in your life, you can navigate the obstacles that are going to be thrown at you. I got them coming at me right now, y'all. The obstacles are real right now. But because I walk in something greater than myself, I'm not scared. And there's a lot of people who aren't built the way that I'm built. There's a lot of people who aren't. They're going to break during this time. I refuse to break because that's not an option. I know that the purpose of why I'm here is to be able to speak this truth to those who need to hear it and to be able to help others get to ascension in their mind, their body, and their spirit. That's why I do music. That's why I create. I'm not trying to get clout. I don't care about that. I know everything will come with it. It doesn't matter to me, because I ultimately know that the purpose of the ways that and the reason that I do the things that I do is to get others to a higher place in themselves within our Creator, to become in alignment with the Most High. And the Most High lives within the temple. The Solomon's temple is you. Your body is that temple. And the more that you're connected to the Creator and you're directly having conversation within the source, you don't have to go through people. Now, you do get messages through different people because they're more tapped in than you, or they have a message that they need to get to you through the creator, because sometimes the creator doesn't directly talk to you. He uses other people, he uses nature, he uses birds, and he uses all sorts of things within this life to talk to you through the word as well. The word is a living word. If you're only reading the word to memorize scriptures, you're reading the word wrong. If you're only reading the word to memorize scriptures, you're reading the word wrong. Because the word is actually something that we utilize as a tool to be able to get us to where we're going. Meaning that you can have direct conversations with the creator through the word, through prayer, by opening that book, by getting to the point of who that person is. Seth Sojourner's vlogs. This is my vlog too, y'all, man. The thing about it is that we're all on this journey trying to figure it out. I don't have all the answers, nor do I choose to act like I do have all the answers. But the one thing that I will say that I do have is an open heart and an open mind to be able to get to where I'm getting to. All praises to you, Abba Yah. Bless up to those who are chosen. Shalom, shalom. Chime in, like, and subscribe to this live. If you got something from it, information or otherwise, you know what I'm saying? Give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm growing it out. We got more content coming. All praises to the Most High. Yah, bless up. Peace.